Did you know that over 70% of people struggle to control their emotions when faced with external influences? What if I told you there's a way to regain that control? In this video, we'll explore how to stop others from controlling your emotions, empowering you to take charge of your feelings and reactions. Whether it's a harsh comment or a difficult situation, by the end, you'll have actionable tools to remain calm and in control. Many people find themselves reacting emotionally to others' opinions, criticisms, or behaviors. Imagine this: someone criticizes your work, and before you know it, you're stressed, frustrated, or even angry. This is incredibly common, but it can lead to emotional burnout, strained relationships, and a constant feeling of being on edge. Why does this happen? Because we allow external forces, other people, situations, even social media, to dictate how we feel. When we let others' words or actions control us, we lose our emotional freedom. So, how do we break this cycle of emotional reactions? It's not about shutting down your emotions, but about learning how to manage them effectively. Let's explore some key techniques and principles that can help. First up is mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment and recognizing when you're being emotionally triggered. When you practice mindfulness, you can create a small pause between the stimulus and your reaction. In that pause, you get the chance to make a conscious choice about how to respond. Mindfulness isn't just meditation, it can be as simple as taking a deep breath, noticing how your body feels, and becoming aware of your emotions before they take over. But why does this work? Because mindfulness allows you to become an observer of your emotions rather than a slave to them. You stop reacting on autopilot. With practice, this pause becomes longer, giving you more control over your emotional responses. The next technique is setting emotional boundaries. What do we mean by boundaries? Well, emotional boundaries are the invisible lines we draw around ourselves to protect our well-being. These boundaries tell others what is and isn't acceptable when it comes to how they treat us. For example, if someone constantly criticizes you or belittles your feelings, that's crossing a boundary. By setting boundaries, you're not only protecting your emotions but also teaching others how to interact with you in a healthy way. But how do you actually set these boundaries? It starts with knowing your limits. What behaviors from others make you feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed? Once you identify these, it's time to communicate them assertively, but calmly. Setting a boundary could be as simple as saying, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," or "I need some time to process this conversation." Now let's talk about assertiveness. This doesn't mean being confrontational or aggressive. It's about standing up for yourself in a way that's respectful to both you and others. Assertiveness is key to managing your emotions because it allows you to express how you feel without being overwhelmed by them. When you're assertive, you're saying, "My feelings matter, but I'm not going to let them control me or the situation." For example, instead of bottling up anger or exploding in frustration, assertiveness lets you say, "I'm feeling frustrated because." This opens the door for productive communication, rather than an emotional outburst. Here's another point to consider: understanding emotional triggers. Everyone has emotional triggers, certain topics, situations, or behaviors that automatically provoke a strong emotional response. Maybe it's a tone of voice, a specific criticism, or even being ignored. The key is identifying these triggers and understanding why they affect you so strongly. Once you know your triggers, you can start to manage your reactions. For example, if you know that being interrupted triggers frustration, you can develop a strategy for handling it in the moment, like politely asking to finish your point. Another powerful tool is reframing your perspective. Sometimes, the way we interpret an event is what triggers our emotional response, not the event itself. Reframing is about looking at a situation from a different, often more positive, angle. For example, If someone criticizes your work, instead of taking it personally and feeling upset, you could reframe it as an opportunity to improve. By changing the way you interpret the situation, you change the way you feel about it. Reframing doesn't mean ignoring reality or sugarcoating everything, but rather finding a perspective that's more constructive and less emotionally charged. Often, we're our own worst critics. When others criticize or hurt us, it can trigger a harsh inner dialogue that makes us feel even worse. Practicing self-compassion means being kind to yourself, especially in moments of emotional difficulty. When you're able to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend, you naturally become less reactive to others' opinions or negativity. You realize that your self-worth does not depend on external validation. To sum it up, managing your emotional responses comes down to several key principles. Mindfulness to stay present, setting boundaries to protect your emotional space, assertiveness to communicate your needs, understanding your emotional triggers, reframing situations to shift your perspective, and practicing self-compassion. These tools, when used together, form a powerful defense against external emotional influences. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment below with your thoughts. How have you taken steps to control your emotions? And if you're looking for more tips on emotional wellness, don't forget to check out our other videos. Like and subscribe, and take charge of your emotional health today.